Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hedge and Lee, and I want to show you a phenomena of patterns that is not found in any other books. I've identified it using these patterns since 1997. So here, when we look at XLM, many were saying that there is a clear and distinct bullish inverted head and shoulders. Right here, you can see the left shoulder, head, the right shoulder. And sure enough, the limbs completed and price rose to the upside and breached to the upside of the neckline, thereby giving the double confirmation of pattern completion and price breaching above the neckline. So that would have given a signal to go long, long, long for a long time. Well, I think maybe in the 70s and 60s and 50s, this pattern could have played out in such a way with such degree of confidence. But the fact that just about every newbie is able to identify head and shoulders patterns has diminished its efficacy in many ways. And with that, you can call it mutations of pattern pathways and outcomes do take place. And one of them is what I'd like to share with you. When you have an inverted or inverse upside down head and shoulders, which is immediately followed by what in this case looks to be a head and shoulders top, where the inverse and the top pattern share one limb. So for the inverse, this is the right shoulder. For the top, this is the left shoulder. They are conjoined, Siamese inverse. And when this occurs, when an inverse is conjoined by a pattern that is head and shoulders top, the efficacy of the inverse is rescinded. It is canceled out. I have identified this process, phenomena, for quite a few times now. It is not in any books, but important enough to be aware, to be had from an awareness perspective. And I think this is maybe one way sentiment undergoes some changes to patterns, to a more complex direction or types, such as this, where an inverse is canceled out by a head and shoulders top conjoined with the same limb, one limb. Now this could work the other way around. You could have a head and shoulders top, and then that could be conjoined to an inverse head and shoulders. And that would mean that this head and shoulders top is thereby canceled out by this inverse head and shoulders. I have seen this occur 3 or 4 times consecutively in some instruments. But it occurs mostly in commodities, I believe. And since cryptos behave very much like commodities, it is not surprising to see this phenomena occurring, in this case, on XLM. It may be of interest for you next time you see an inverse head and shoulders or a head and shoulders top to consider the potential of this cancellation process. At hedging.com, we put out videos of this type every day, along with trade setups. Gold members are the only ones who receive these trade setups. I would invite you to give us a check. Have a good day.